Uh, Sorry about that, people. My daughter called me. She went to a trip to Branson, Missouri, and wanted to show me what was going on there. But anyway, I'll start over for those that may not have heard. Anyway, I'm a greeter at church once a month, the first Sabbath of the month, and everything was fine. And just as Sabbath school was almost up, and I was ready to go into church, there was a guy that came in dressed as a transgender. And this is the first transgender we've ever had come into the church. And my mouth dropped open. I didn't know what to think. And like I said, when he left, went into the church, I asked everybody if they knew who he was, and they said they didn't. And the deacon told me, he says, well, what are you going to do if he decides to go into the women's bathroom? And I says, well, I never thought about that. However, our church has not changed the bathrooms yet, and I hope they don't, although I know that there are some places that, schools, restaurants, and things like that, that have changed to transgender, but I hope ours never do. But anyway, I decided after that, maybe I better go before he decides to step his foot in there. Just goes to show you that times being what they are, they're starting to infiltrate the Adventist church, and I was hoping it would never happen, but we all have to be ready for that. What would you guys do if somebody like that came into your church? Would you tell them they had to leave? Believe me, that was something that was in my mind, but then I knew that's not Christian to do that. We have to love him and accept him anyway. And maybe if he's shown the right way to go, that he'll change and stay a man like he's supposed to. It is quite shocking, although, like I said before, things like this happen, and it really shouldn't be a shock. But when it comes in your own back door into your church, which you've never expected to happen, it is a shock. And also, a few months ago, I don't know, I can't remember exactly when it was. This happened in church too. A homeless guy came into church, and he had gone into the men's restroom, and the deacon told me he was blocking the door, and I couldn't figure out why he was blocking the door. He had walked into the men's restroom, and this guy had stripped himself naked. I don't know why, but he was completely naked. So he had to stand outside the door and make sure that nobody went into that restroom. And it just goes to show that people are crazy. I don't know what's in their mind, if Satan's dealing with them or what, but we all have to stand fast. Things are getting way out of hand. And it's like I said in the Periscope before, and I said in Dr. O's, this earth is not my home. I'm just passing through. I hope you all feel that way too. We have to be ready at all times for heaven, and be ready for Jesus to come. Times are being what they are. It's not going to be very long now. We know the National Sunday Law is coming upon us. And with the LGBT agenda out there, there is no discrimination whatsoever as far as they are concerned. You can't tell them anything. And yet I feel this way. Well, we are Christians. We don't have any rights to say anything. Where are our rights? They take our rights away from us. Why should they have rights too? But yet we have to let them have their rights. It isn't fair, but that's the way it is. God knows what's going on. He sees everything, and I'm sure he's not happy about what they're doing. But what can we do? We as Christians, we have to love them anyway and not love what they do, and hope and pray that someday they will see that what they're doing is wrong. And I've heard about so many bombings, a bombing yesterday in Bangladesh, and things happening all around that you don't know if those people know Jesus or not. But if they don't, here they are, going to their graves, not knowing Jesus and dying for nothing. It's really very, very sad. So I implore any of you that if you have a loved one or family member that doesn't know Jesus, or a neighbor, do what you can to get the message out to them and pray for them, because they need Jesus as much as we do. Jesus doesn't want anybody lost, but the sad thing of it is there's going to be a lot of people lost because we don't know when our time is up. And we could be driving down the road and we could get into a car accident and die. We could go to bed tonight and die. So we have to be on guard at all times. We have to keep Jesus in our hearts. We have to read our Bible and be ever mindful of what the Bible says and what Jesus has said in his word, that he is coming back again. And I know that time is real short. We don't know. People like to put dates on things like when Jesus is coming or when the National Sunday Law is going to come. But I tell them you can't really do that. We don't really know. We have to just live each day as if it's our last. And I intend to do that too, live each day as if it's my last. And Also, something else has come up. Back in December, I was going to Periscope it earlier, but I haven't done it. And anyway, we had a lot of bad weather in the fall, a lot of rain and what have you. I had a tree in my yard that had died, and I knew that it would be a matter of time before the wind would come along and blow the tree down. Well, in December, my ex-husband was spending some time with me for the holidays, and lo and behold, he heard a snap. We didn't know what it was, and I woke up the next morning, opened up my drapes, and all of a sudden I looked out, and the tree had toppled over. But I praised the Lord, because that tree could have fallen against my house and could have killed both of us. But fortunately, it fell against my other tree in my yard, and it wasn't going to go anywhere else. And since then, an elder of the church has come and cut it down. But I just kept praising the Lord. I says, Lord, you protected me, you protected my home. You didn't let that tree fall that way. And also, there was a car next door in the driveway, right next door where the tree was. And that tree fell the opposite direction. It didn't fall on her car, because I was so afraid if it had fallen on her car, what would have happened? That's twice where the Lord was with me, and He provided. So God is out there, and He will provide for us. We just have to love Him and always be there and study His Word. Hi, good to see you. I'm thankful for everybody that comes into my Periscopes. And if I miss a comment or two, it's not because I'm ignoring you. It's just I don't see all of them. And sometimes I don't see the comments that come through that may be derogatory or abusive. So if you do see a comment that does come through that is very abusive, please report it, because I won't be able to see it to block it. I did have to block a few this morning in my church Periscope. But anyway, I'm just so thankful that I was protected and my house was protected and God was there for me. And that thing with this thing in this morning in church, though, was something that I never expected to happen, at least not in church. We know it's going to happen other places, but to see a transgender walk in our church, and it's possible it's going to keep happening, and there isn't anything we can do except just to love them anyway. And I don't know what I would do if a transgender would walk in the woman's bathroom, though. I think I might have something to say about that one. But I just hope our church doesn't go so far as to change the restrooms into transgender, because that would be going a little too far. But it's going to happen, I'm afraid, times being what they are. Our pastor was gone today, and I don't know what he would have done if he'd have been there. But like the deacon said, well, whatever floats his boat, if that's what he wants to do and dress that way, far be it for us to say anything, even though we don't agree with it, but we have to love him anyway. It was just so funny to see a man. Here I am standing here talking to a man and looking him dead in the face, and he had blonde hair and he had a dress on, and I knew it was a man, and the way he talked, it was a man. And I just smiled at him. That's all I could do. I thought, I can't let it show that I'm not really happy with what he's doing, because it's none of my business to say anything. God will deal with him in His own way. I don't have to worry about it. He will take care of him. So I just wanted to bring this to you guys' attention. I'm going to call it quits for now, because I really haven't got a whole lot more to say. But I want you guys to remember that God is always there. And if you come across something like this, just remember, you love Him anyway. And don't say anything to them. Let God deal with them. He will in His own way. And if you can give them a tract or a book or anything, we'll do that too. And let's all remember Reformation 2016 coming up. We need to pray for that day too, that there will be the infilling of the Holy Spirit when they get a hold of those books, that they will read them, and that they will come to know Jesus like we know, and that there will be a soul winning for the kingdom. We know that what the Pope has to say probably isn't anything that anybody would want to hear, but with Dr. O going there and Stephen Bohr and Forerunner, we know that there'll be a good work done that day. And I can't go myself, but I'm going to be watching the Periscope from there, and I'm going to be Periscoping from church. And I'm going to keep praying. And everybody, you too, pray and donate if you can and help them out, because that's going to be a big day. And I'm going to ask my church to help, and we should all ask our church to pray and help if any way they can. So I'm going to go for now, and I just want to tell you all that I love every one of you, each and every one of you that support me in my Periscopes, even though I'm not the best at it. not like Simeon or Dr. O or Forerunner, but I love you all for coming in, and take care. God bless, and goodbye.